Let's look at the Eagles' passing game struggles and why one bird thinks they're really close to breaking out through the air. What about Jalen Carter putting Sean Desai's name on the map? An update on the Eagles' very long list of injuries, and why Chris Sims, he's just a terrible, terrible analyst. I'm Thomas Mott, this is The Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Thursday. The No Fun League, well, they were at it again on Monday, and we have proof now that the NFL made A.J. Brown change out of his electric green cleats that he wore through the first couple of drives of the first half against the Tampa Bay Bucks. They look fantastic. I liked them. You liked them. The NFL said no. A.J. Brown confirmed on Twitter saying, yes, they did. No Fun League strikes again, thumbs down emoji. So wild that the NFL kind of makes people not wear certain cleats but allows them to wear others. Either way, I guess electric green is not allowed. Now, speaking of A.J. Brown and the rest of the passing offense, the offense itself has really picked up through the air the past couple of weeks, but it still is missing that extra juice we saw throughout the entire 2022 season. Whether it's a 300-yard passing game from Jalen Hurts or just Dallas Goedert getting more involved, feels like people are just waiting for Philadelphia to put everything together and not only run the ball well, but throw it as well also. Well, Dallas Goedert spoke to 94.1 WIP just a couple of days ago, and he thinks Philadelphia is really, really close. Listen to this. We've been getting a lot of exotic looks, a lot of different things or unscouted looks teams are throwing at us to stop us, and sometimes it works. But it seems like we've been able to figure it out. I feel like the passing game is getting closer and closer, end quote. And you're wondering, of course, how people were going to defend Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' unbelievable offense going back to 2022. Well, it seems like they're not doing a lot of things that teams have put on tape. They're showing exotic looks that the Eagles have not been able to prep for, and the Eagles are having to do some coaching on the fly. And whether you blame Brian Johnson for the Eagles not being ready for this stuff, or you give credit to Brian Johnson for the Eagles being able to adjust and adapt to this stuff, it feels like the Eagles are just days away, maybe on Sunday, or a couple of games away from really figuring out this passing attack and starting to really take over and dominate defenses. Now, it is a little bit funny that Philadelphia is having some passing attack offensive struggles, yet they've had almost 900 yards of offense in the past 2 weeks. Shows you how perfectionist Philadelphia Eagle fans are and how badly they want this team to blow the brakes off of Washington on Sunday afternoon. Now, even with Philadelphia being heavy favorites against Washington, you got to look at the injury report and get a quick update from where we were yesterday on who might play and who might not. Now, quick glance here, you see Sidney Brown did not participate with a hamstring, Justin Evans with the neck did not participate, Quez Watkins also did not participate, and then a bunch of guys who were limited, including Britton Covey, Fletcher Cox, Zach Cunningham, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, and Boston Scott. However, different reports have surfaced as of yesterday showcasing that Sidney Brown, it doesn't seem to be a serious hamstring injury. We expect an update maybe Friday morning on his official playing status, but he should be good to go. Quez Watkins is a little bit more serious. I'm a little more hesitant to say that he's going to play on Sunday. And Justin Evans' neck, they haven't given us much information, so TBD in terms of the Eagles starting safety. But everybody who was limited is most likely going to play, including both Boston Scott and Landon Dickerson, who gave an update on that knee contusion he suffered on a really, really good blocking play. Looks like, according to Josh Tolentino, he has, a knee contusion, but he's sporting a compression sleeve on his right leg. He didn't offer a definitive answer about his status, but he indicates he is okay and went on to discuss Commanders' defensive front. Sounds like he's playing Sunday. First injury report to come today. We'll get that hopefully either later today or early on Friday. But if you're worried about the big man at left guard, who's been absolutely dominant so far in what will be a Pro Bowl season, the knee injury seems to be minor. He should be just fine. By the way, give me a thumbs up down below just for the fact that Philadelphia has had a lot more injuries early on this season than they did in 2022, and they seemingly are handling it pretty darn well. Has it been perfect? No, but these are some serious starting positions that have had some injuries, especially on the defensive side of the football, and Sean Desai, he's kind of been figuring it out. Now, speaking of Sean Desai, it's interesting that Philadelphia kind of added this guy who was a defensive coordinator a couple of years ago, very much unknown, had no clue what you're going to see the first couple of weeks. Kind of a rough opening week against the New England Patriots, but he's settled down, especially in that Week 3 win in the second half against the Bucks, and he's starting to get a lot of national notice. Zach Berman is quote tweeting an Ian Rappaport tweet here. We're talking about how the Eagles continue to impress on defense. Even with some issues on the back end, the name Sean Desai is one we'll start to hear louder and louder, and of course, he's getting the national attention that he rightfully deserves with the Eagles defense playing very, very well. And this was always going to happen. Anytime you have a good football team, coordinators are going to start to be poached, as we saw Shane Steichen get poached, Jonathan Gannon get poached from the staff this past year. It's no surprise that Sean Desai's name, if the defense continues to play well, might start getting some national attention when the coaching staff carousel comes around in 2024. Now, we have a long way to go and a lot of good teams to go ahead and face, so you can't crown Sean Desai the greatest defensive coordinator in Eagle history just yet. But so far, the Eagle defensive numbers, especially in the rushing game and the pressure and pass rush win rate, have been astronomical and really, really impressive. Now, one of the main reasons is you have a really good defensive front, most notably led by maybe the best player on that defense just 3 games into his NFL career in Jalen Carter. Jason Kelce was asked about Carter just the other day, and he said, quote, "I'm trying to remember any rookie that's come out of the gates like Jalen Carter. and we all knew it 2 to 3 practices in. It's apparent when someone's that good. And quote, now we of course did a bunch of shows during the preseason, during training camp saying, hey, look out for Jalen Carter. We're hearing he looks good. Don't be surprised if Jalen Carter plays really, really well. And sure enough, Jalen Carter is living up to and obviously exceeding the expectations that were set on him just a couple of weeks ago. But what's crazy is not only his ability to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, which seems very, very strong right now, his pass rush win rate, his PFF grade, all of them are fantastic. How about Adam Schefter going on 97.5 The Fanatic in Philadelphia yesterday and basically admitting the Eagles almost didn't draft him? According to one 97.5 listener, he said, quote, Schefter just said on the radio the Eagles were not going to draft Jalen Carter until he and his agent called Lurie and Howie Roseman that night. He pleaded his case on why the Eagles should draft him and they would not regret it, end quote. Now, do you believe Adam Schefter on this? Maybe. I mean, he's very much plugged in, but it seemed to me like Jalen Carter had already kind of tried to tank his pro day, stopped meeting with other teams, very clearly wanting to come to Philadelphia. Now, whether the Eagles were convinced that night by both his agent and himself to draft him, who knows, but this is seemingly going to go down as one of the greatest draft picks, hopefully, in recent Eagle history, and I would hate to be a team like the Lions who took, a trade back in Jahmyr Gibbs instead of taking Jalen Carter. Now, in case you live under a rock, the Eagles' tush push, or their brotherly shove, has been getting ripped up and down by people in the national media.
That tush push play is a blight on the league.
Philadelphia Eagles tush push.
And then they got the guy pushing him in the back.
Is it fair? No, it's not. Is there a way to stop it? No, there isn't.
I'm going to start being on the, let's hurt Jalen Hurts trains. Oh. Just annoying to watch as a fan.
And it seemed like it was only a matter of time until resident Eagle hater Chris Sims decided to go ahead and give maybe the worst take he's ever given when knocking Jalen Hurts, and that's saying something.
I was a defensive coach. I'd be going with go ahead hunting on the quarterback here. Go ahead. Let him have it. Dive over, go crazy, try to kill the quarterback. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I don't mean it like that.
First of all,
yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, I did, but
I didn't say that, first of all.
But here,
second of all, that's not what Chris means.
Yeah, I don't mean kill, but I mean just make them pay, make them think twice about doing it.
Try to kill the quarterback. Well, I don't mean kill the quarterback, but what I mean is try and hurt the quarterback. And he's basically trying to say that defenses need to do something to slow down Jalen Hurts, and yet it comes off so disingenuous, so just terrible. What is Chris Sims thinking whenever he says this stuff? Has he issued an apology? Will he issue an apology? It's not really the Chris Sims way. At least you have competent former NFL players going in the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles, like resident fan J.J. Watt, who said, quote, let's talk about the new tush push. Unpopular opinion. If they weren't allowed to push from behind, the Eagles would still be just as successful at quarterback sneaks. Yes, it helps. The push isn't the reason it's successful. The O-line and Jalen are. Exactly. We've been saying this. You can try the tush push, but maybe your quarterback doesn't squat 600 pounds, and maybe your offensive line isn't as good as ours. Is that our fault? Should we ban it because we found out something that is that we're much better at than you are? No, it doesn't make sense. And like they said here, the amount of times that Jalen Hurts surges across the line to gain without even getting a push from Kenny Gainwell or A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert, it's like 90% of the time. You take out pushing, you take out pulling, this Eagle offensive front, they're so big, they're so physical, they're so dominant, they're still going to beat you. And again, is it our fault that Howie Roseman scouted and found Jordan Mailata, who turned out to be one of the best left tackles in the National Football League? Is it our fault we took Landon Dickerson from being a center at Alabama and moved him over to left guard and he's already an all-pro? No, so quit trying to complain about this. And I said this many, many times, including yesterday in my interview with Stephen Shea from Barstool Sports. If you missed it, go ahead and check it out. If you're an NFL team and you want to get this banned, you need to start running it. And that means every NFL team needs to start running this ad nauseum to where it's a guaranteed first down for every team. And then the NFL might try to take it out, but as you've seen, many teams have tried to attempt this and failed mightily. One thing that hasn't failed has been Britton Covey and the punt returning statistics that have blown everybody's mind. Remember Crash Test Covey, the guy that Eagle fans wanted to get rid of because he would just catch the punt and then run right into an opposing player? Well, that seems to be gone, and not only is Crash Test Covey having an incredible kick return, punt return season, Nick Sirianni said he's widely loved inside the locker room. We know we have a hidden gem that not everybody always fully appreciates. We sure do. He's a locker room favorite here. These guys love Britton Covey because he's tough, he works his butt off, great personality, end quote. And again, Philadelphia Eagle fans like myself, we're wrong about a lot of stuff. I wanted to get rid of Crash Test Covey last year, and yet the Eagles stuck with him. He's been very consistent, fielding the punts, not fumbling the football, and now you add in that dynamic return game we saw all the way back at Utah, and you might actually have a pretty legit special teams unit if Devin Allen can get going on a kick return standpoint. You got Covey from punt returns, and obviously the best kicker in the league right now, sorry Justin Tucker, and Jake Elliott. We have plenty more stuff happening in the next couple of days and weeks, getting you ready for Sunday afternoon's matchup at home against the Washington Commanders. Commanders, where we are giving away another Eagles jersey to a winner of our Super Chat giveaway that we do almost every single live show. So if you have not joined us for a live show, join us on Sunday, my channel, Josh's channel. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever we go live. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out on a Thursday. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.